La Femme Nikita is a Canadian action-drama television series based on the French film Nikita by Luc Besson. The series was co-produced by Jay Firestone of Fireworks Entertainment and Warner Brothers. It was adapted for television by Joel Surnow. The series was first telecast in North America on the USA Network cable channel on January 13, 1997, and ran for 5 seasons until March 4, 2001. The series was also aired in Canada on the over-the-air CTV television network. La Femme Nikita was the highest-rated drama on American basic cable during its first 2 seasons. It was also distributed in some other countries, and it continues to have a strong cult following. Comparison with the film. In the original Luc Besson film, Nikita is a drug-addicted juvenile delinquent who was accused of killing a police officer in cold blood during an attempted robbery of a pharmacy. She is later arrested and sentenced to death by lethal injection, upon which she was secretly drugged by the government, faking her death. Nikita is then recruited by a secret government organization and transformed into a highly skilled assassin who cannot be traced. The television series differs from the film versions in one fundamental aspect. Nikita is innocent. She is not a killer, nor a drug user, just a homeless young woman in the wrong place at the wrong time. Section 1, an elite, top-secret counter-terrorism organization, sets Nikita up to be accused of murdering a police officer and sentenced to life in prison, where she supposedly commits suicide and is brought into Section 1. Because Nikita will be killed if she fails to comply, she is forced to carry out the organization's ruthless methods of fighting terrorism, while attempting to keep her moral integrity intact. This personal struggle becomes the primary conflict of the series. A key scene in the 2 theatrical films involves Nikita's first assignment, to murder a VIP in a crowded restaurant. Although the Nikita of the television series eventually does become, by necessity, a ruthless killer, in the television version of this first mission, she uses her ingenuity to avoid having to kill the VIP. However, despite the machinations of others in power around her, Nikita retains her compassion and humanity. Over time, Nikita's secretive and risky romantic involvement with her trainer, the mysterious Michael Samuel, will become another source of conflict, and the series' most significant relationship. Just before the conclusion of the series, Nikita also learns the truth of why she was recruited into Section 1. Style and presentation. Despite being advertised as an action-oriented series, the series' uniqueness primarily stems from its emphasis on action as such and greater reliance on well-crafted dialogue and complex plot structures more common to the genre of sophisticated spy thrillers influenced by film noir and neo-noir. Since its inception, the series did not have a large enough budget to finance complex action sequences. Its creative team exhibited great ingenuity marshalling its modest resources, channeling their energies into the writing of episodes with more complex plot structures, fuller character development, and more substantial dialogue for the series' actors. The autonomous nature of Section 1 allowed the writers of this series freedom to explore areas not usually associated with this genre on television. Nikita's voiceover in Season 1 establishes the Machiavellian motif of Section 1. While founded as a counter-terrorism organization, Section 1 uses a moral means to achieve its objectives, while still citing efficiency and service of the greater good as justification for its actions. Its standardized implementation of draconian measures includes the use of intimidation, torture, murder, assassination, abduction, suicide operatives, false imprisonment, and terrorist cooperation. In one early episode, for example, in exchange for crucial information, Section 1 hands a woman over to a sadist knowing she will be carved up. Unlike most organizations engaged in counterterrorism, Section 1's key personnel work neither for monetary gain nor for pure ideological devotion. Instead, Since most of these operatives are purportedly reformed criminals, they work out of fear of execution for substandard performance or disloyalty. Such a dynamic based on fear fosters a bleak social environment in which there is little interaction among members. This rather paranoid environment, combined with the futuristic hyper-realist setting of the organization, the brutally real nature of counterterrorism, and Section 1's particular mantra of efficiency, results in a dark, minimalist ethos reflected or expressed in all aspects of the television series. Most particularly, this is present in its design of costumes and selection and original composition of music, as well as in aspects of dialogue, plot, themes, lighting, and acting modes and camera styles. Also notable or intriguing camera angles and frequent close-ups on actors' facial expressions, focusing especially, during pauses in dialogue or in reaction shots, on their eyes in long takes. Owing to the harshness of the environment in which operatives have to perform, the writing tends not to romanticize any potentially positive aspects of the organization or of most of the series' characters. The series generally exudes a dark tone in keeping with the organizational philosophies, the counter-terrorist situations, and the requisite tactics used by operatives of Section 1. Unlimited operational resources for missions coupled with human propensity to hide ulterior motives and individual personal moral relativism lead to widespread intra- and interdepartmental infighting and recurrent secret alliances, backstabbing, blackmail and abuses of power between and among the characters, especially among those in the highest levels of power. Operations, Madeline, and George. The series raises, explores, and offers fresh insights about ethical and moral issues emerging from the paradoxical nature of a counterterrorism organization which resorts to terrorist methods to succeed in its own ostensibly altruistic goals, and the attendant dilemmas in which the generally unwilling operatives in such an organization find themselves. Nikita's unwavering belief in a kind of moral absolutism consistently and coherently motivates the underlying dramatic plot conflicts in the majority of the episodes. Characters. Main cast: Nikita falsely accused of killing a police officer. Nikita is sentenced to life in prison. Soon afterward, she is recruited into Section 1 when the organization fakes her suicide. As the only truly innocent recruit into Section, her compassion and sympathy constantly conflicts with the often ruthless orders she is given. After spending 2 years being trained by Michael, Nikita learns to use her beauty as a weapon and becomes an expert in martial arts and ordnance. Initially reluctant to kill, she eventually becomes more efficient at doing so. As Field Operative Level 2, she is used in a wide variety of capacities, from Valentine operative to assassin, despite her moral qualms, but manages to hold on to her humanity while working for the organization. Eventually, she and Michael become romantically involved, a development that threatens not only their standing in Section 1, but their very lives. Their relationship is seen as a threat by Operations and Madeline, and they use a mind-altering method on Nikita to rid her of all emotions. Michael manages to reverse the process, but Nikita's performance takes a more professional tone. In the 5th season, Nikita works directly for Center and evaluates all Section 1 staff. Nikita discovers the real reason she was taken into Section. Her father was Mr. Jones, the head of Center, the organization that controls Section. His plan was to make Nikita take over as head of Section 1 and eventually Center. In the series finale, he sacrifices himself to achieve these goals. Michael main cast. Seasons 1 to 4. Special guest star. Season 5. Blank-faced, often emotionless and coldly efficient. Michael Samuel is a former radical student activist whose protest group sparked the Paris riots of 1984. Not long after being sent to prison, he is recruited into Section 1. He graduates 9 months early directly as a Level 3 operative. He becomes one of their most successful and respected operatives. A few years later, however, the apparent death of his wife, Simone, a fellow section operative whom he married against the wishes of Operations and Madeleine, affects him greatly but not enough to grant cancellation. He completely shuts down emotionally, becoming almost an automaton. It is not until Nikita enters the organization that he begins to open up emotionally once again. Simone is revealed to still be alive early in the first season and sacrifices her life to exact revenge on her abductor for her years of imprisonment and torture. This time Michael has Nikita to fall back on. Complicating their often difficult relationship is Michael's blood cover marriage to Elena Vacek, the daughter of a fearsome terrorist that Section 1 has pursued for decades. His son, Adam, is a product of that union. After 10 years in Section, he is a Level 5 field operative and team leader and is most likely to succeed operations. He is quite accurate with firearms, almost never missing a shot, especially while performing acrobatics. He is sent to a suicide mission by Nikita when she evaluates the staff for Center Operations Level 9, head of Section 1, accountable only to oversight. A Vietnam veteran, former Lieutenant Paul L. Wolf was recruited into Section 1 against his will just before the fall of Saigon. A shrewd and driven man, Operations eventually topples the founder and head of Section 1, Adrian, seizing control of the organization himself. While giving lip service to the aims of Section, the eradication of terrorists and the protection of the innocent, Operations uses Section 1 as his own power base, gaining considerable control over dictators in many regions of the globe. This lust for power brings him into direct conflict with George, head of oversight, who on many levels despises him, and even Adrian returns from her forced retirement to mount an unsuccessful coup attempt against Operations. He is also distrustful of Nikita, and even attempts to kill her on a number of occasions, but is forced to grudgingly accept her success at completing Section missions. He and Madeleine make an effective partnership, including a brief romance. He is killed when he tries to rescue Michael's son from being kidnapped by the Collective, and later replaced by Nikita as the new Operations of Section 1. Madeleine main cast. Seasons 1-4. Special guest star. Season 5, Level 9, Executive Strategist, Second-in-Command, Chief Tactician, and Psychologist for Section 1. Madeleine is Operations' closest ally and confidant. The ultimate personification of Section 1's ideals, she is cold and efficient in the execution of her duties, which often involve using torture to extract information from captured terrorist subjects. A master manipulator, she knows the psyche of each section operative inside and out, and can push the right buttons to get what she wants from each one, each time. This brings her into constant conflict with Nikita, whose independent spirit she grudgingly admires, but overall views as a threat to her control within the organization. Madeleine's Type 1 directive against Michael's and Nikita's romantic partnership will kick off a chain of events that even Madeleine is unable to predict. Events that will force her to make a fateful choice that will have major repercussions on the future of Section 1. She commits suicide at the end of Season 4. Seymour Burkhoff, Jason Crawford main cast. Seasons 1-4. Special guest star. Season 5, Level 4, Head of Com. Seymour Burkhoff is Section 1's resident genius. His computer abilities are legendary. He supervises Section missions in progress. He and Walter are close friends despite their wide difference in age, and Nikita sees him like a younger brother. Many years later, Burkhoff learns he was one of two twin boys born to a Section operative. The boys became the subject of a Section 1 psychological comparison, in which Burkhoff was kept within Section 1, while his brother Jason was adopted by the Crawford family outside the organization. This was due to a fateful flip of the coin by Walter, and when Burkhoff discovers this, it permanently strains their relationship. Burkhoff's new obsession with leaving Section 1 leads to the creation of an artificial intelligence program to take his place, in order to create more downtime. Unfortunately, the AI becomes self-aware, and Burkhoff sacrifices himself in order to stop it. Quinn replaces him as the head of CUM. His brother Jason is later recruited by Section 1, upgraded to Level 1 and sent to Center. Walter Level 7, head of munitions. Walter is the oldest surviving operative in Section 1. He is responsible for creating new unnecessary gadgets, tools and weapons for Section operatives to use on various missions. While initially sexually attracted to Nikita upon her arrival into Section, he ultimately becomes her loyal friend and confidant, even participating in a cover-up to hide the ongoing romantic status of Nikita and Michael. His trademark nickname of her, Sugar, and bandana were additions from the actor. His brief marriage to, and loss of, Belinda, an abeyance operative, is ample motivation for his willingness to do anything to get back at what he perceives to be Operation's cruelty. However, Operations continues to spare Walter's life, likely because of a long-standing relationship that began in Vietnam and may have included a period where Walter was his Section trainer, although this is merely speculation. Also, in the series finale, after Operation's death, Walter reveals to Quinn that he once saved Operation's life. Operations did not thank him, but also did not cancel him, even though he had many reasons to do so over the years. Walter states, "I guess in the end, we both came out about even." Quinn main cast. Season 5. Recurring. Season 4. Catherine, Kate. Quinn is Seymour Burkhoff's replacement, his head of CUM, and is markedly different from her predecessor. Arrogant, sharp-tongued and distrustful of all men, she nevertheless is unflappable in the face of danger and manipulative of her superiors when necessary. Forced to work alongside newly recruited Jason Crawford, she shares a number of humorous exchanges when she becomes the focus of his romantic interests. However, her sights are set on Operations, and she apparently seeks to be the woman at his side in charge of Section 1. She is later revealed to be working for Mr. Jones. Recurring guest stars actors who appeared in 3 episodes or more. Carlo Rota as Mitch Topple, Mr. Jones; Reginald Martin Henderson, a flashy, worldly informant, later revealed to be Mr. Jones, the head of Center, an organization above oversight that directs all sections. Later, Mr. Jones is revealed to be another cover identity. Henderson is exposed as an actor working for Center as a decoy for the real Mr. Jones. Lindsay Collins as Devo 1 aka Elizabeth. Josh Holiday as Devo 2 aka Henry. Tara Sloan as Gail, Section operative and Burkhoff's girlfriend. Ine Granovsky as Carla, Nikita's neighbor, later revealed to be an operative for Adrian. Bruce Payne as Jurgen, a ruthless, brutal high-ranked operative. Sian Phillips as Adrian, the mother of Section 1, who was deposed in a coup orchestrated by Paul and Madeline and seeks to destroy the Section to prevent it from taking over the world. David Hemblin as George, the head of oversight, former lover of Adrian and enemy of Operations. Lawrence Bain as Davenport, a Section 1 operative loyal to Operations. Chris Lemcher as Greg Hillinger, Burkhoff's rival in Section 1, later revealed to be a mole for oversight. Stephen Shellen as Marco O'Brien, a former police officer who becomes Michael's replacement. Samia Shoaib as Elena, Michael's wife and daughter of a terrorist. Evan Caravella as Adam, Michael's son with Elena. Kira Clavel as Jasmine Kwong, recruit turned Section operative and confidant of Nikita. Edward Woodward as Mr. Jones aka Philip, codename Flaviusa, the true head of Center, and Nikita's father. Polly Shannon as Michelle, Mr. Jones's mysterious secretary. Cassandra Marr as Kyria, the spy. Conrad Coates as Hailed, the collective's second-in-command. Aidan Devine as Graf, the leader of the collective.